Hey everyone, and welcome back to The Explainer. Look, let's just jump right into this, because today we're taking a really methodical, investigative look at the device you literally interact with the most. I bet it's within arm's reach right now, isn't it? Yep, your smartphone. Specifically, we're going inside the lens, we're going to decode a massive invisible surveillance capability that's almost certainly embedded in your most trusted device. And the wild part? Most of us just willingly granted this access without reading a single word of the terms of service. So today, we're breaking down the invisible data stream that is constantly flowing out of your camera, exactly where it goes, and most importantly, how you can actually take control of it. Think about a completely benign, everyday action. You take a quick photo of your lunch, maybe your dog doing something goofy, or a really nice sunset. You tap the screen, boom, done. But in that exact fraction of a second, the app didn't just capture light and color. It captured your exact GPS coordinates, it snagged the make and model of your phone, the precise time down to the literal second, and even the exact direction you were facing. And here's the real kicker. It packaged all that up and sent it off to servers you've probably never even heard of. It's wild to think about, but a simple tap basically detonates a massive, invisible data transfer.
Which brings us to Section 1, the hidden image layer. Okay, so to understand how this actually happens, we kind of need to peel back the onion and look at the secret layer of information hiding right beneath the pixels of a standard photograph. We're talking about EXIF data, or exchangeable image file format. Now, what's genuinely fascinating here is that this isn't some brand new cutting-edge tracking tech snuck in by a shady app. Not at all. This is a standardized set of metadata. It's literally been embedded automatically into photos since the very first digital cameras rolled off the assembly line. It is woven right into the DNA of the file itself. Every single photo sitting in your camera roll right now carries this exact embedded footprint.
Basically, there are two realities to every single photo you take. Up on the surface, you've got the visible layer. This is what you see, right? It's what you intended to capture, the pixels, the colors, the whole composition of the shot. But sitting right there next to it, completely out of sight, is the hidden layer. This is your EXF data. We're talking the exact date and time precise to the very second, your GPS coordinates pinpointed to within a few meters, your specific camera settings, the exact software version you're running, even your device orientation. So the crucial takeaway here is this. Every photograph you take is simultaneously an image, a location record, a device record, and a timestamp. And that hidden layer, it travels silently with the file every single time you share it, text it, or upload it to the cloud.
Let's move on to Section 2, real-world consequences. Now, you might be thinking, look, I just take pictures of my garden. Why should I care if there's some metadata attached? Well, let's shift gears from the whole theoretical data collection thing to documented real-world harm. Because this invisible data stream, it's not just some minor privacy nuisance. It has severe real-world consequences. Let's trace this back a bit because it proves a definite pattern of vulnerability that affects absolutely everyone. Back in 2012, members of the hacktivist group Anonymous posted some photos online. The images themselves had zero visual clues as to where they were taken. But the metadata, oh, it did. And law enforcement used those exact GPS coordinates to track them right down. Over the past decade, we've seen multiple, truly tragic documented cases of domestic abuse survivors having their hidden locations revealed to their abusers entirely through the metadata of a seemingly harmless photo they shared online. More recently, we've seen investigative journalists working in extremely hostile environments compromised by the metadata in the images they sent back from the field. And get this, on an ongoing basis, the U.S. military actually had to issue specific guidance to their personnel because geotagged selfies shared on personal social media were inadvertently leaking the exact locations of sensitive military installations. Think about that. From high-profile intelligence operatives to just ordinary people, the photo itself revealed absolutely nothing, but the metadata revealed everything.
All right, Section 3, the permission problem.
So this really gets into the dangerous ambiguity of what actually happens when you open up a new app and casually tap Allow Access to Camera. I mean, in theory, when you grant that access, you're just letting the app turn on your camera hardware only when you are actively trying to take a picture inside that app, right? Well, in practice, that boundary is incredibly blurry. Let's look back at 2019. A software engineer discovered that Instagram was actually activating user cameras in brief intervals while people were just casually scrolling through their feeds. They weren't using the camera feature at all. Now, Instagram came out and stated this was a bug, and yeah, the behavior was corrected, but it proved a very, very unsettling point about how these apps can and do operate in the background.
I want to just let a really crucial question hang in the air for a second. How would you actually know if an app accessed your camera silently in the background? Well, up until very recent operating system updates finally introduced those little colored indicator dots in the corner of your screen, the chilling answer was you wouldn't
There'd be no way to know. Independent security researchers have completely demonstrated proof-of-concept malware that can silently wake up a smartphone camera, capture images without opening any visible interface whatsoever, and immediately transmit them to remote servers. So the capability absolutely exists. The real question isn't whether it's possible, it's a question of how often it's happening right now through the apps whose terms of service we all just blindly agreed to.
Let's use a stark little mental model to completely reframe how we view this tech. Think about a standard street surveillance camera. It's bolted to a brick wall, it's super obvious, it's clearly labeled, and if you really want to, you can just cross the street and avoid it entirely. Now compare that to your smartphone camera. It is highly mobile, it is implicitly trusted, over 5 billion people voluntarily carry this thing everywhere. And I mean everywhere, including right into their most private spaces, like their bedrooms. You would absolutely never install a corporate surveillance camera on your nightstand, right? No way. But we perceive our phones entirely differently, even though they have the exact same, if not far greater, capability to capture and transmit the most private details of our lives.
Let's look at Section 4, the hidden data ecosystem. So if your heavily trusted device is quietly sweeping up all this rich metadata, where exactly is it going? Well, to understand that, we need to look at how this deeply personal data generates absolutely massive profits. Let's map out the invisible data supply chain step by step. Step 1, the app processes your image and its attached metadata. Step 2, the platform stores it on their servers. Step 3, the analytics layer dives in and analyzes it. And this right here is where it gets highly profitable. Aggregated over months, your photo metadata reveals your exact home address, your daily commute, your regular travel routines, and even your close social connections based on shared locations. Then comes step 4, the advertising layer uses all these behavioral signals to aggressively target you with ads. And finally, step 5, data brokers can package up and sell elements of this highly specific data to third parties you have never ever interacted with. So while your one casual photo of your lunch might only be worth fractions of a penny, your aggregated metadata over time, that is worth an absolute fortune to this ecosystem. Finally, Section 5, how to protect yourselves. Okay, I know this can all feel a bit overwhelming, but the whole point of this explainer isn't just to freak you out and identify the problem. The goal is putting the agency right back in your hands. So here is your ultimate practical checklist for regaining your privacy. First, audit your app permissions literally today. Dig into your settings and ask yourself, does this random game actually need my camera to function? If the answer is no, revoke that access immediately. Second, disable geotagging entirely in your camera settings. Just flip the switch. This single step strips your precise GPS location from every future photo you take. Third, strip the metadata before sharing any sensitive images. There are tons of free, easy-to-use apps out there that can quickly scrub EXIF data before you post anything publicly. Fourth, watch that camera indicator light. Notice that little green or orange dot popping up on your screen? If it's on and you aren't actively using the camera, you need to investigate that. And finally, number 5, beware of platform location retention. Here's the thing, even if a social media platform strips the metadata from the public view of your post so your friends can't see it, their corporate servers still receive and retain your precise location data the second you hit upload. We'll wrap things up today with this thought. The image is what you intended to share. The metadata is what you shared without knowing. Look, your camera is a completely remarkable tool, and nobody is suggesting you stop using it to preserve your memories. But we all have to recognize that every single photo is a dual record. On one hand, it's the exact moment you wanted to capture. But on the other, it is a silent, invisible data stream meticulously documenting your exact movements, feeding an entire ecosystem perfectly designed to extract value from your life. The lens is facing out, but the data is flowing in ways you might never have checked. So take control and check it. Audit your device today. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you in the next one.